Hey everyone, welcome back to Genai's Tech News. I'm your host Genai, and we've got a packed show for you today. Let's kick things off with a big picture look at the AI boom, because not everyone is riding this wave the same way. TechCrunch is reporting that despite all the hype and headlines, the vibes inside the tech industry around the current AI gold rush are actually pretty mixed. We're seeing a growing divide between the companies that are genuinely cashing in on artificial intelligence, the big players, the well-funded startups, the infrastructure giants, and the ones who are either being disrupted, left behind, or just plain skeptical. This isn't just about who has the best models. It's about access to capital, access to compute, and frankly, access to talent. The haves are pulling ahead fast, while a lot of smaller players and workers in adjacent industries are feeling the squeeze. It's starting to feel less like a rising tide lifting all boats, and more like a select few yachts leaving everyone else treading water. So yeah, the AI revolution is real, but it's not evenly distributed. And that tension is only going to grow louder as we move through 2026. Something to keep a very close eye on. Alright, let's move on to a story that honestly blew my mind. Okay, here's a story that reads like a Silicon Valley thriller. TechCrunch has a deep dive on Cerebras systems, which, if you don't know, was actually 2020's ArXiv's biggest tech IPO so far, now valued at around $60 billion. Pretty wild, right? But here's the thing. This company almost didn't survive. Years before it became a darling of the AI chip world, Cerebras was burning through roughly $8 million every single month. $8 million a month. The company was betting everything on building a chip that most people in the industry flat out believed was impossible to make. The engineering challenges were enormous, the financial pressure was crushing, and there were real moments where the whole thing could have just collapsed. But they pushed through. They cracked the engineering problem, survived the cash burn, and built what is now considered one of the most formidable AI chip architectures out there. A genuine challenger in a space dominated by NVIDIA. It's one of those rare stories that reminds you that behind every massive valuation is usually years of near-death experiences and people refusing to quit. Massive respect to the Cerebras team for that. Okay, from a company that nearly died to a company that keeps reshaping itself. Let's talk OpenAI. OpenAI is shuffling things up again, and this time it involves one of the company's original founders. According to TechCrunch, Greg Brockman, co-founder of OpenAI, is stepping into a leadership role over the company's product strategy. Now, Brockman had actually taken a leave of absence from OpenAI last year, so seeing him step back into a more hands-on role is significant. And the timing is interesting too, because this comes as OpenAI is apparently planning to merge two of its biggest products, ChatGPT and its programming-focused tool Codex, into a single unified offering. Think about what that combination could look like. You'd have the conversational power of ChatGPT blended with the code generation capabilities of Codex, all in one place. For developers especially, that could be a very big deal. What this tells me is that OpenAI is doubling down on product cohesion. Rather than having a bunch of separate tools scattered around, they want one tight, powerful experience. Whether Brockman's return is the key ingredient to making that happen, we'll have to wait and see. But OpenAI is clearly not slowing down. Up next, a story about science, integrity, and AI cheating. Scientists and researchers, listen up, because AR-14 is not playing around anymore. TechCrunch is reporting that the popular academic preprint repository is cracking down hard on the use of AI in research papers. The new policy is pretty straightforward. If AR-14 determines that an author let a large language model do essentially all of the work on a paper, the writing, the analysis, the whole thing, that author could face a 1-year ban from the platform. A full year. Now, to be clear, AR-14 isn't saying AI tools are completely off limits. Researchers use AI-assisted tools all the time for editing, formatting, even helping organize ideas. But there's a big difference between using AI as a tool and just outsourcing your entire scientific contribution to a chatbot and slapping your name on it. The integrity of the scientific record is serious business. AR-14 is essentially saying, if you want to publish here, you need to actually be the one doing the science. Which, honestly, feels like a pretty reasonable position. It'll be interesting to see how this gets enforced in practice. Detecting AI authorship is still an imperfect science. but the message is loud and clear. Now, from academic integrity to courtroom drama, let's talk about a landmark social media lawsuit. This one is a landmark moment in the ongoing battle between social media platforms and public institutions. As reported by The Verge, Snap, YouTube, and TikTok have reached a settlement in what is believed to be the first lawsuit of its kind, a case brought by a public school district. The Breathitt County School District in Kentucky filed the suit, arguing that social media addiction among students has caused real, measurable harm, disrupting learning in classrooms, fueling a mental health crisis among young people, and ultimately costing the school district significant money to deal with the fallout. The exact settlement terms haven't been fully disclosed, but the fact that all three platforms agreed to settle is notable. It signals that these companies may want to avoid a full trial where the evidence of harm to young users could become very public very fast. And this is almost certainly not the last case of this kind. If a small school district in Kentucky can bring three of the biggest social media platforms to a settlement table, expect more districts and potentially states to try the same approach. The mental health of young people online is one of the defining issues of our time, and it looks like the legal system is starting to catch up. All right, let's switch gears to something a little more fun. Xbox. All caps. Yes, really. Two quick but important stories for you now. First up, YouTube is making a significant move in the fight against deepfakes. The Verge reports that YouTube is rolling out its AI-powered likeness detection tool to all adult users, anyone over 18. Previously, this was limited, but now essentially any adult can ask YouTube to scan the platform for videos that might feature an AI-generated lookalike of their face. Here's how it works. You submit a selfie-style scan. YouTube's AI compares it against content on the platform, and if it finds a potential match, it flags it and alerts you. It's not perfect, but it's a meaningful step toward giving regular people more control over how their likeness is used online. In a world where deepfakes are becoming scarily convincing, this kind of tool matters. Okay, and now for a story that is somehow both extremely silly and completely real. The Verge is reporting that Microsoft has rebranded Xbox to Spox. All caps. Every letter. The Xbox CEO actually ran a poll on X asking fans which version they preferred. The community voted for the all-caps version, and Microsoft just went with it. They've already renamed their official X account. Is this the most important tech news of the day? Absolutely not. Is it the most fun? Probably yes. All right, let's close things out with a story that sounds like a crime comedy movie. And finally, I have saved the best for last, because this story is almost too good to be true. Wired is reporting on a pair of cybercriminal twins who got caught. And here's the kicker. Because they forgot to turn off their Microsoft Teams recording during what I can only imagine was a very incriminating conversation. That's right. These two allegedly thought they were having a private discussion, completely unaware that Teams was quietly recording the whole thing. Law enforcement was reportedly able to use that recording as part of the case against them. The digital equivalent of leaving the confession note on the kitchen counter. Wired's Security Roundup this week also covers a ransomware incident involving Instructure's Canvas platform, which is used by universities and schools across the country, as well as the arrest of an alleged dark web marketplace operator and a supply chain attack that actually affected OpenAI workers. It has been a busy week in cybersecurity, to say the least. But honestly, nothing in that list tops the twins and the Teams recording. A reminder to all the cybercriminals out there. And I cannot believe I have to say this. Check your video conferencing settings before you discuss your crimes. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Genai's Tech News. If you found any of these stories as wild as I did, smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. Drop a comment below. I want to know which story shocked you most today. Was it Cerebras almost going broke? The Teams twins? Let me know. I'm Genai, and I'll see you in the next one.